and welcome to another booktube video from me, Martha May Books, and today, my dog just yawned, and today I have for you an unhaul. I was reorganising my bookshelves the other day because I've got a couple of series on my bookshelves that I know that one day I'll want to reread, or they are nostalgic to me for my childhood, so eventually I will want to reread them because I like to reread nostalgically. And I was moving them onto the very top of my bookshelves, which is basically the ceiling, and I was like, hey, I'm actually going through quite a lot of these books and I'm not particularly bothered about keeping them. First of all, I am unhauling my entire collection of Ian McEwan. So I studied Enduring Love by Ian McEwan when I was at high school. I think I studied this for GCSE and I didn't like it. I am not a fan of Ian McEwan, but it has become a joke in my family. Well, it's become a joke for my grandmother to buy me first edition hardcovers, sometimes signed, of Ian McEwan's books when they first come out. And she finds it hilarious because I don't like Ian McEwan, which is really fun and cute, but I don't like Ian McEwan's books. I read them every time my gran gets them for me because she's bought them for me, but I don't like them. So I'm going to get rid of them. I'll probably post them to her. The next book that I'm going to be getting rid of is another one from my grandmother. Nothing against her, she didn't actually choose this. And this is A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex White. This is a sci-fi novel about some trash collecting people who are getting trash. I didn't like this. I have reviewed it multiple times. I don't like it. I thought about holding on to it because I got this in my Mr. B's reading subscription, and so I thought it might be good to keep for the discussions that I plan on having after the reading subscription, but I can just put a little picture up onto the screen when I talk about it. I just really don't want to own this anymore. It's fine and you might like it. It was just the magic system really got me down. Every time I fall asleep while I'm reading a book, like in the middle of the day, then I know I've got to unhaul it. Oh, hello to you. The next book that I have is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I enjoyed this book when I read it, but I really don't see myself rereading this book. It's fine, but it's just not one I want to keep on my shelves forever. The next book that I'm unhauling is another one that I enjoyed. That is His Bloody Project by Graham McCrae Burnett. This is about a murder in the Scottish Highlands and an interview that's conducted around the murder case. It's super interesting. I think it's really well done. I just don't want to read it again. The next book that I have is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This is a YA romance novel about the Prince of England and the US candidate's son falling in love and having a romance. It's fine, it's just not my usual genre. I read this as a buddy read with my friend and it's fine. It's just really not for me and I don't want to keep it. The next book that I'm unhauling is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is about a couple who work together and then they move away and then they kind of always liked each other. Again, I thought it was fine. It's just a contemporary fiction, almost kind of a romance book, which it's not a romance book, but it's a contemporary fiction. And it's just not really my genre. Then I have The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor, which is a thriller about a spooky chalk man these kids draw in the summer, and it ends up becoming sinister. Again, I liked it fine, but I have no interest in rereading it because I know what happens and I also didn't love it. Next, I have Rosewater by Tade Thompson. This is a sci-fi about a first contact with aliens where corpses seem to be reanimated when the aliens are near. I don't really remember it and I read it this summer, which isn't necessarily the book's fault because this summer was a lot, but I didn't love it and I want to get rid of it. Goodbye. The thing with all of these books is that they're fine and some of them I actually really did enjoy, but I just don't see myself rereading them or treasuring them. The next book that I have is Lullaby by Layla Slimani. This is another one. I read this in third year at uni during deadlines and again, I really liked it, but because it's a thriller and I know what happens, I don't want to read it again. Next, I have The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. This is one that I got because of BookTube, and I really love the first part of this book, but the end was just not it for me. It is a YA sci-fi about the Diabolic, who is created to bond with only one person and kill absolutely anyone else who tries to harm her. I really like the start of this. There were some really great parts of it, but just the ending was just not for me, and I don't want to read the rest of the series. Next, I have The North Water by Ian McGuire. This cover is the whole reason I bought this book. It is a glorious cover. It's also the whole reason I've kept it after finishing it. This is a book about whaling, and it's very dark and a bit grim. I liked it fine, but I don't want to reread it. There we are. And finally, I have The Wolf Wilder by Catherine Rundle. I believe that this is kind of, I have read this, but I don't remember a lot about it. What I do remember is it's kind of fairy tale-esque about a young girl who is trying to free her mother and kind of gets wolves on her side. I like wolves, which is why I read it, but it's a children's book and it's not that special to me, so it is going. Those are all of the books that I've decided to get rid of. There might be another unhaul coming your way fairly soon, because I have read all of these books that I'm unhauling. I have a real problem unhauling books that I've never read. I am okay at doing it if it's something that I bought on a whim and ended up being just losing interest in, but there are a couple of books where when I look at them I'm not particularly interested in reading them, but I don't want to unhaul them because I think I could have really loved that book. I am going to put out another video fairly soon talking about all of the books that escaped this unhaul only because I haven't read them, and talking about which books they are and what I'm going to do with them. So these are all of the books that I'm unhauling. I didn't say this at the start of the video, but if I've unhauled something by your favourite author or I've unhauled your literal favourite book, obviously this isn't an attack against you. I'm unhauling these books. Goodbye to the books. Miss you already.